Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape over the last few days, you've probably heard some whispers, some rumors, and maybe even some confirmed reports about a major move involving the Buffalo Bills and the Carolina Panthers. And let me tell you, this is a story that could reshape the AFC East and send ripples through the entire conference. It's all about a trade that's not just about adding a player, but about shifting the balance of power, especially when it comes to the Bills' Super Bowl aspirations. So what exactly is going on? Well, sources close to the teams are pointing to a blockbuster trade where the Panthers, who are currently in a full rebuild mode, are sending interior defensive lineman Derek Brown to the Bills. Yes, Derek Brown, the guy who's been turning heads in Carolina, a true run-stuffer beast, a player who's been recognized as an All-Pro candidate for 2024, is heading north. And in exchange, the Panthers are getting a first-round pick in 2026 and a fifth-round pick in 2027. Now, at first glance, some might wonder if the Panthers are giving up too much for a player who's still relatively young, but has been a cornerstone on that struggling defensive line. But when you dig a little deeper, it becomes clear that Carolina is in full rebuild mode. They're prioritizing rebuild efforts on their offensive line after allowing a staggering 31 points per game, and they're focusing on acquiring young talent to build around a quarterback like Young. This move makes perfect sense for Carolina. They're looking to shed cap space and get draft capital while they build for the future. Derek Brown, who's been a dominant run defender, is a perfect fit for the Bills' defensive scheme. He's a player who can plug gaps, stuff the run, and bring a level of interior disruption that Buffalo desperately needs, especially after losing Oliver to a season-ending biceps rupture back in October. Oliver's injury was a huge blow, but with Brown coming in, the Bills are bolstering their defensive interior significantly. Brown's profile is impressive. He's one of those players who just smashes gaps, controls the line of scrimmage, and makes life difficult for opposing running backs. In 2024, he's projected to be an All-Pro again, and in 2025, he's been a consistent performer, 52 tackles, 3 sacks in just 8 games, with a PFF grade of 84.7. That's elite production. His EPA per run at -0.17 and 10 tackles for loss show how disruptive he can be, whether it's collapsing the pocket or shutting down the run game. He's also very durable, with minimal injuries so far in 2025, and his stats include 350 solo tackles in his career, 20 sacks, and a remarkable 150 tackles for loss. His ability to double-team and win 52% of those matchups is comparable to some of the best interior defenders in the league, like Daron Payne, but Brown also adds over 200 tackles just in 2023 with the Panthers, making him one of the most consistent and disruptive interior linemen in the NFL today. Now, let's talk about why this trade makes sense for both teams. For Carolina, it's a clear rebuild. They're trying to reset after a chaotic period post-strike era. Their defense has been a mess, allowing over 4.3 yards per carry on the ground, and they have cap issues. They need to free up money to extend players like Chuba Hubbard, whose $10 million cap hit is a concern. Brown's contract at around $19 million a year weighs on their cap situation, so moving him makes sense. It's a static move for them, trading a plug-and-play defender for future assets. But for Buffalo, this is a different story. They're in win-now mode, sitting at 5-3, and their defensive line has been underperforming, especially after Oliver's injury. Adding Brown, who pairs well with Gregory Rousseau and others on that line, is a game-changer. Since Oliver went down, the Bills' interior pressure and run defense have taken a hit. But with Brown now in the fold, their run-stopping numbers are poised to improve dramatically. Imagine Brown as a partner to Jones, giving Buffalo a run stop that could improve by over 300 yards allowed across the season. His presence is expected to add about 1.6 sacks per game compared to what they had before, and that's huge. This upgrade will help the Bills reduce the number of explosive plays allowed on the ground, and it will also improve their EPA per rush by around 16%. Think back to the trade for Buckner last year with the Colts. That's the kind of impact Brown can have on the front seven. And it's not just about stopping the run. Brown's ability to generate interior pressure will also help the Bills' pass rush. They've been ranked around 20th in pressure since Oliver's injury, and adding someone like Brown will elevate that number. He's a player who can create pressures from the inside, anchor against double teams, and help generate turnovers, something the Bills desperately need. Plus, his ability to hold the point of attack means that opponents, running backs, will have a tougher time finding gaps, which is crucial against divisional rivals like the Dolphins and Jets, who rely heavily on their rushing game. This move also carries implications for the Bills' playoff chances and their Super Bowl ambitions. With Brown in the lineup, the Bills' defense could transform into a top-tier unit, similar to some of the dominant defenses of the 70s or the early 2000s, players who elevate the entire team. His presence could be the X-factor in tight playoff games, especially when facing high-powered offenses like the Dolphins, which are known for their explosive passing and rushing attacks. The Bills are now looking at a defense that can match up better against the league's best, and Brown's combination of strength, football IQ, and consistency makes him a perfect fit for their needs. Looking ahead, the impact of this trade is already being felt. Oddsmakers have shifted the Bills' Super Bowl odds from plus 1,200 to plus 650, signaling a newfound confidence in their chances of making a deep playoff run. Brown's addition is viewed as a key piece in their puzzle, an interior anchor who can change the complexion of their entire defense. Comparatively, rivals like the Jets, who are also fighting for playoff positioning, are sitting at plus 4,000 odds, showing how much of a difference a single trade can make in the NFL landscape. This is a move that also speaks to the Bills' long-term strategy. They're not just trying to win a few games here and there. They're building a team that can dominate for years to come. Adding a player like Brown not only addresses immediate needs, but also signals that Buffalo is serious about contending for championships. His ability to elevate the defense, generate turnovers, and limit opponents' rushing yards makes him more than just a player. He's a symbol of their aggressive approach to building a championship-caliber roster. Of course, no move is without its risks. The Bills are giving up a significant draft pick for Brown, and there's always the question of whether he can stay healthy and continue to perform at this high level. But so far, he's been remarkably durable with minimal injuries this season, and his production speaks volumes about his commitment and talent. For Buffalo, the gamble seems worth it. They're adding a proven interior disruptor who can be a centerpiece of their defense for years to come. So what does this mean for the AFC East? Well, it's clear that the Bills are signaling their intent to stay atop the division. With this move, they're not just looking to compete, they're looking to dominate. The Dolphins and Jets will have to respond, and that's going to make the division even more competitive and exciting. This trade could very well be the turning point that elevates Buffalo back into the league's elite, especially if Brown helps them tighten up against the run and pressure quarterbacks more consistently. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this trade? Do you see Derek Brown as the missing piece to propel your team back to the Super Bowl? Or are you cautious about giving up a first-round pick for a player who's still young but unproven in the playoffs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Bills' future. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Buffalo Bills news. This is a team that is always evolving, always fighting, and always aiming for greatness. Thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next video.